want to read Exodus 12 then?
Okay. Yahweh said to Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be for you the beginning of the months. It shall be for you the first of the months of the year. Speak to the entire assembly of Israel, saying, On the 10th of this month they shall take for themselves each man a lamb or kid for each father's house, a lamb or kid for the household. But if the household will be too small for a lamb or kid, then he and his neighbor who is near his house shall take according to the number of people. Everyone according to what he eats shall be counted for the lamb or kid. An unblemished lamb or kid, a male within its first year, shall it be for you. From the sheep or goats shall you take it. It shall be yours for examination until the 14th day of this month. The entire congregation of the assembly of Israel shall slaughter it in the afternoon. They shall take some of its blood and place it on the two doorposts and on the lintel of the houses in which they will eat it. They shall eat the flesh on that night, roasted over the fire, and matzots. With bitter herbs shall they eat it. You shall not eat it partially roasted or cooked in water, only roasted over fire, its head, its legs, with its innards. You shall not leave any of it until morning. Any of it that is left until morning you shall burn in the fire. So shall you eat it, your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, your staff in your hand. You shall eat it in haste. It is a Pesach offering to Yahweh. I shall go through the land of Egypt on this night, and I shall strike every firstborn in the land of Egypt, from man to beast, and against all the gods of Egypt shall I mete out punishment. I am Yahweh. The blood shall be a sign for you upon the houses where you are. When I shall see the blood, and I shall pass over you, there shall not be a plague of destruction upon you when I strike in the land of Egypt. This day shall become a remembrance for you, and you shall celebrate it as a festival for Yahweh for your generations. As an eternal decree shall you celebrate it. For a 7-day period shall you eat matzots, but on the previous day you shall nullify the leaven from your homes. For anyone who eats leavened food, that soul shall be cut off from Israel from the first day to the 7th day. So then now we're talking about unleavened bread. On the first day shall be a holy convocation, and on the 7th day shall be a holy convocation for you. No work may be done on them. And it says, except for what must be eaten of any person, only that may be done for you. You shall safeguard the matzots, for on this very day I have taken your legions out of the land of Egypt. You shall observe this day for your generations as an eternal decree. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month, in the evening, you shall eat matzots until the 21st day of the month, in the evening. For 7 days, so through unleavened, leaven may not be found in your homes. For anyone who eats leavening, that soul shall be cut off from the assembly of Israel, whether as a convert or a native of the land. You shall not eat any leavening. In your dwellings shall you eat matzots. Moses called to all the elders of the Israel and said to them, Draw forth or buy for yourselves one of the flock for your families, and slaughter the Pesach offering. You shall take a bundle of hyssop and dip it into the blood that is in the basin, and touch the lintel and the two doorposts with some of the blood that is in the basin. And as for you, no man shall leave the entrance of his house until morning. Yahweh will pass through to smite Egypt, and he will see the blood that is on the lintel and the two doorposts, and Yahweh will pass over the entrance, and he will not permit the destroyer to enter your homes to smite. You shall observe this matter as a decree for yourself and for your children forever. It shall be that when you come to the land that Yahweh will give you, as he has spoken, you shall observe the service. And it shall be that when your children say to you, What is this service to you? You shall say, It is a Pesach feast offering to Yahweh, who passed over the houses of the children of Israel in Egypt when he smote the Egyptians, but he saved our households. And the people bowed their heads and prostrated themselves. The children of Israel went and did as Yahweh commanded Moses and Aaron. So did they do. It was at midnight that Yahweh smote every firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh sitting on his throne to the firstborn of the captive who was in the dungeon, and every firstborn animal. Pharaoh rose up at midnight, he and all his servants and all Egypt. There was a great outcry in Egypt, for there was not a house where there was no corpse. He called to Moses and Aaron at night and said, "Rise up, go out from among my people. Even you, even the children of Israel, go and serve Yahweh as you have spoken. Take even your sheep and even your cattle as you have spoken, and go and bless me as well." Egypt imposed itself strongly upon the people to hasten to send them out of the land, for they said, "We are all dying." The people picked up its dough before it could be leavened, their leftovers bound up in their garments upon their shoulders. The children of Israel carried out the word of Moses. They requested from the Egyptians silver, vessels, gold vessels, and garments. Yahweh gave the people favor in the eyes of all the Egyptians, and they granted their request. So they emptied Egypt. The children of Israel journeyed from Ramses to Succoth, about 600,000 men on foot, aside from children. Also, a mixed multitude went up with them, and the flock of cattle, very much livestock. They baked the dough that they took out of Egypt into unleavened cakes, for they could not be leavened. For they were driven from Egypt, for they could not delay, nor could they make provisions for themselves. The habitation of the children of Israel during which they dwelled in Egypt was 430 years. It was at the end of 430 years that it was on this very day that all the legions of Yahweh left the land of Egypt. It was a night of anticipation for Yahweh to take them out of the land of Egypt. This was the night for Yahweh, a protection for all the children of Israel for their generations. Yahweh said to Moses and Aaron, "This is the decree of the Pesach offering. No alienated person may eat from it. Every slave of a man who was brought for money, you shall circumcise him, then he may eat of it. A sojourner and a hired labor may not eat of it. In one house it shall be eaten. You shall not remove any of the meat from the house to the outside. You shall not break a bone in it. The entire assembly of Israel shall perform it. When a proselyte sojourns among you, he shall make a Pesach offering for Yahweh. Each of his males shall be circumcised, and then he may draw near to perform it, and he shall be like the native of the land. No uncircumcised male may eat of it. One law shall there be for the native and the proselyte who lives among you. All the children of Israel did as Yahweh had commanded Moses and Aaron, so did they do. It happened on that very day Yahweh took the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt in their legions. That was kind of long.
I didn't know you were going to read all that.
I didn't know either. That's the whole chapter.
And what chapter is that?
Exodus 12. So that's the first Pesach, or Passover. So here we have specific instructions of painting that doorpost, that lintel, with the blood of the lamb or the kid of the goat, and all that Yah did for his people. Like exactly the day he said he was going to do this, it happened. They were out of there. That's so cool.
He doesn't remember, doesn't forget. He doesn't change. He is who he is till the end of time.
Yeah.
Get your brain around that. If you're not, if your God changed, you got the wrong God.
And if the rules change, like, no, they're still the same forever through
Throughout
all your generations, right?
Wherever you live.
Yeah.
And aren't you happy he is that way? Because
Absolutely grateful.
like if you're set to worship somebody and they change and the rules change, you got to be sure what century you're living in and what. No, man.
How confusing that would be. Like, what? What am I supposed to do today? Did it change today?
Again, he wrote the program and he hit enter, and it just keeps running.
Yep. Love it.
I'm glad you just read all that because I make it a point of reading every year what we're supposed to
Yeah.
do with the intention of thinking about how I did it last year, how my heart is towards it,
Yeah.
to do it with the best of my ability, and to do it better this year, like closer to what you said to do, Father. So, and it's going to be a lamb or a goat. It's not going to be something else. It's going to be a
Yeah.
lamb or a goat. And my son won't eat it, but he'll lick it. I make him here. Just try some of this.
Try it.
He's not a big protein guy, but
Yeah.
I make enough for me to eat it. I'll eat it all.
Oh yeah.
And
That's
then we,
great because I really have to re-examine it every year. I really do. And it's kind of silly because okay, I've already done this. Surely I know the instructions, but every year it's like, "Oh, I'll notice something else that I should have done." So, it's so good to, "Oh, the beginning of the year is coming. Oh, I know Passover's that first celebration day. What do I do again?" And just to almost clean slate it. What do his instructions say? What is what is the deal here? And to remember what he did to get his people out of Egypt is so awesome. And then to know it isn't for everyone. It's very specific here. It's just not for everybody. And to eat it in haste, to have those bitter herbs, to have the matzots, to do this on the 14th. Like there's very specific things that I can do. And I have my shoes on and my car keys with me and my bag ready to run out the door. Like I'm ready to leave. I'm getting out of Egypt just like his people were brought out of Egypt. So I think that's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. So if you're sorry, oh boy, I hate doing this, but I don't really care. If you're if your celebration lasts all night and you're having this big old thing, that's not what it says. Eat the meal in haste. Like, be
Yeah,
quick about it and get ready, because
absolutely.
it's a remembrance of this is what it would have been like back in the day. Like, we could go at any minute. Like, he
Yeah.
could, the instruction could come. So have
And
your
the
loins
cool
girded.
thing is, like, you're getting rid of those bones. You're burning those bones, right? If you have bones in your lamb. I have a wood burning stove, so I can have a fire going. I can get rid of those bones and that it's in your house. Like, I hadn't really noticed that before. Like, you're eating this in haste in your own home. You're getting rid of those bones because the next day is the rest day. The next day, the 15th that they walked out of Egypt, that's the important rest day. So here, Passover is really that last check. Do I have all the leaven out of my home? Do I have any belief in myself? Is there anything that I don't want or that doesn't align to his instructions? I'm getting rid of that. And as I'm throwing out the leaven, I kind of try to self examine. Is there anything, yeah, that I don't need in me that doesn't align to your word? Like, I want my beliefs to line up to his instructions. So that's kind of a fun thing. And then when you're making that matzot, or you're preparing your meal or whatever, like that's Passover. You're getting that ready for that evening to eat in haste. So that's all on the 14th. And then the next day, I love that it's separate, the 15th. And then to do unleavened, then you're doing that 7 days of unleavened bread. So I think
And the
that's really
first
cool.
and the last day are a day off. Don't work.
Yeah, like enjoy it. These are your days off. If you had a vacation day from work, there's no way you would go in anyway and be the only one there working. No, that doesn't even make sense. So here he's inviting you to these days off to celebrate with him, to have his festivals. So don't miss out.
And you got to tell your boss you need a day off. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, for what? And it's a strange thing to them, man. And that's when we read Jubilees next time. You're gonna hear that Yahuwah wants a strange people. I want you to be
Yeah.
strange and different.
Right?
Like, you're not gonna be just like everybody else. You're my people. We got a way of doing things they don't even understand.
hmm And the cool thing in Jubilees, it specifically says this will be on the same day every year. It won't be in a different month. There's no confusion here. You start your year, you count 14 days, you have Passover. And then, I mean, he had which days you actually eat the unleavened, the 15th to the 21st. That's 7 days. Like, it's so simple when we just read his instructions and follow what he says to do, which is just beautiful.
thanks for sharing that. I guess I'm out of stuff.
Yeah, I think that's good.